Hey,
not in this car.
Stop
2 minutes. I'm
They won't leave me alone.
Did you brush your teeth?
Gordy,
Which one
what
are
are
you
you
supposed to
doing?
eat?
Mom, that's in the
guys.
toilet again.
Yeah, she's ready.
Oh
my
Okay,
gosh,
Gordy,
what's that
get
smell?
your shoes.
Clean your room.
Gordy, was that you?
Babe.
Bye, Bobby.
It's Mom.
Get.
Mom.
Another
snack.
Oh,
Where'd everybody go?
I love you guys so much.
Babe, are you in the bathroom again?
Hello and welcome to Herm's house. So I know normally you're used to Herm/David introducing every episode. However, I shouldn't say we because I run the switchboard. I messed up. Soundboard, switchboard, whatever. Our microphones are connected to a soundboard that takes the microphone sound that comes from what we announce and goes to a recording. Well, little old me didn't realize that it had an echo on because, some people like to sound like they're live on stage. And, well, I had it turned on the whole episode. And it took a lot of me to just, I tried so many editing tools. I tried to do so many things to try and fix it. And it just wasn't working. And so maybe if you're a pro at it and know how to do it, reach out to me, let me know. But yeah, the whole episode sounds like we're live from New York. We jacked up. Well, I jacked up. So I apologize that you have to listen to this whole episode with all these echoes. However, David and I are going to record an extra episode for you guys this week. So you'll have 2 dropping for the next week. My bad. Here is the episode, and it is a really good episode. That's why I was so torn on whether or not to drop it. Because we just like if you hear it and you've been listening to our episodes, you're going to hear how good we're flowing, how everything feels and makes sense. So, of course, this would be the episode that I jack up the microphones. But it won't happen again. I will double check it every time. Well, who am I kidding? Something might mess up all the time. This is Herm's house. It's chaos all the time. But that being said, I apologize ahead of time. Here is the episode. I'm sorry you have to listen to it with an echo, but I promise it's got great content. Thank you so much for sticking through it. And here is the episode.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Herm's House. Come on in. This is what are you doing? Making a weird face. My beautiful wife and co-host, Christine.
Oh, I sometimes forget
That we're also being recorded.
it's recording. So if I'm making like weird faces or I'm like, what is it? I'm zoning out.
Mm-hmm.
We were watching Big Mouth and they were talking about the zone out when you put on lip gloss and girls like zone out. They get the zone out eyes. They're putting on their lip gloss.
Because they're
I'm pretty sure that happens to me several times during
Big
this
Mouth is
episode.
an incredibly inappropriate cartoon show, animated show on Netflix that we highly recommend.
Yes,
Anyway.
it's so funny. It's so bad, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, it's only terrible because it's so true.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
It's 100% relatable. You're watching it, and you're like, oh my God, that was me when I was 13 years old. And I wish like I had someone teaching me like this stuff at 13 years old, reality of it.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Like your mug.
Oh,
It's a cute mug.
another shit.
It's my mug.
It's my mom.
Another one that you got me.
It's mine. Good for me. Anyways, I think it's so important.
For the podcast listeners, it said, ew, David.
Oh yeah, I forget. I also forget that people always listen on podcast and can't see our video. They don't get to see my face. So for them, feel this magic happening.
Yeah,
over here.
exactly.
No, back to the learning part of it for Big Mouth is it's so funny and like understanding and learning in that method as an adult looking back on it, but some way to like teach our kids those things like about it's about sex.
Yeah.
It's about puberty.
It's
It's
about
about
Mainly.
no, it's about all those things. Sex,
Because
puberty,
the way the show starts,
relationships.
everybody's prepubescent, and then all of a sudden, that's when like the hormone monster comes out.
Yeah.
And he starts shooting.
Cool.
Like, what is happening? Shoot.
Like,
But it does it for both, which is wild because, of course, it talks about the boys' side, and then it also goes over to the girls' side, which crap that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, it covers anxiety, depression, hormones. They talk about their private areas. Like it really is a unconventional education sort of way of like what you can.
Learning method.
Yeah,
What we were talking about with, so we have 4 kids still in school, right? And even throw Noah into the mix. Whenever he was going to school, he did it way different. And out of all 5 of them kids, all 5 of them learn differently,
right.
but they're all in the exact same, standardized testing. Here you go. You got to figure it out. And if you don't learn this way, it sucks to suck. At least with one of our children, they give, what is that, the 504 plan?
Or I honestly.
504 plan. You know why it's the 504 plan?
didn't
Because
prepare
there used to
me.
be a rap group called the 504 Boys. What? And that's the reason. I think they had like, and I think that was it. We just got, I'm sure. We got a spaceship over us or something. Independence Day type. Anybody watching on the podcast? I mean, on the YouTubes is. About to get invaded over this.
Because what you guys didn't see is before this, we were like fighting with the light behind him, which it looks like
It's so
coming
bright.
back. It was so bright. And so all of a sudden that shade just came over. That was really crazy. we find times to come and record for y'all, and it's like different times of the day. We're
Yeah,
fighting
do our
with
best.
lighting. We're working in the studio right now. And I was just like,
Studios are starving.
can you not, like, I'm trying to sound cool.
Oh.
Can you go and ruin, like, ooh, it's just in
I don't want people to think we are cool.
We are cool.
You're gonna ruin my image. They're like, oh my god, he's getting too cold. No, he's not.
let my husband just humble me for a second. You're not cool. You're not cool. You're just working out in your basement.
Well, mom was basement. Oh, yeah, basement.
Oh. Again, way off thanks to our ADHD.
Squirrels. Yeah. Yeah.
But we're talking about education and why it connected to Big Mouth
Mhm.
and this, because there's so many different ways to learn, I
Yeah.
think, and we're learning their kids the way we teach them ourselves.
Yeah.
But then when we send these people that we're teaching to be themselves and to, go out into this world and do your own thing and follow your dreams and your goals and all this stuff. And then you take them and send them into a school that tries to standardize everything. And the teaching methods are the same. And the testing methods are all the same. And they haven't changed in so many years.
It's like the only thing.
Right. Which I really love the school district our kids at like 40s in right now and our
Yeah.
kids are in. I do see some innovation to it. Like there's some things that 40s doing that I'm like, crap, I didn't know kindergartners learned this stuff back in the day. But there's still some things that haven't changed. Like we were talking the other day about Layla and the ACT.
Yeah, I think in ACT, which we never did.
No,
Sure.
I ditched them those days.
I didn't
Like-
I don't recall them having those. They might have. I don't know if anybody else went to Odessa Permian from the late '90s to the early 2000s. Shout out. Did they provide it? It was free too. They didn't we didn't have to pay anything for them to take at least this first time because all the juniors were
Yeah.
required to take the ACT, whether you do good or not. You got to go take it. It was like a
But it's not, I mean, like for us,
Yeah.
it's like on this day, we're doing the ACT. Everybody's doing the ACT test, whatever, junior, right?
doesn't the T and test and ACT stand for that?
Here we go.
Are you being redundant again?
Yes, I
ACT
just
test.
wanted to make it clear. ACT exam, test exam. See, we're getting on the subject. You keep calling me out on crap, and then we're going to go off topic.
Talk better.
And then our listeners are never going to get through even one subject here. We're jumping around.
You're gonna finish this podcast like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
They're like, leave it.
So they opened it for y'all as in the sense of like, hey, if you when we took the ASVAB, it's like if you want to
It
take the
wasn't-
ASVAB, you gotta go over here.
No, because it wasn't even a if you want to take it. It was on this day, all of the juniors, all of the sophomores are taking XYZ test,
Okay.
right? So that was the day I knew I wasn't going to school. Because, well, I didn't find the value in it because my parents weren't like, you need to take this test. It's so important. I just knew, I think in that time frame, I was like, well, I'm not going to Harvard. I'm not going to like these
Yeah, who
crazy
needs
schools.
ACT,
I don't
bro?
need those classes.
I'm going to U of A there, except in Garland.
Yeah, and so that's rude. That was a very good student. Yeah, so to me, I was like, why do I need these tests? It didn't make any sense to me.
Sure.
And maybe I still don't understand why the importance of these tests are, but I just don't think from my education on these.
Yeah.
Why?
We should take these.
Because there's a lot of successful people.
We should take these.
Oh, thank
But
you.
like raw dog.
I don't like to.
Like just.
So here, and it's very distracting.
Lower back to.
Sorry, listeners.
Shout out to. Lower back to.
I can't concentrate when there's things touching me. This episode.
Do you want to take the ACT? We should-
No, heck no. I
Do
don't
it.
want to take any. I don't want to take tests ever in my life. Even though with the career field I'm in, just getting started, there's many tests ahead of me.
Like $100.
No.
Whoever gets the highest score.
My money's your money. If you want the money, it's still my money. What's
Separate
the
money.
value in that?
We have separate money.
No, your money's my money. Even though we have separate money, it's still my money. You just get to spend it sometimes, and I don't know what you're spending. That's all that
It's just-
means. That's all that means.
Speaking of beer, shirt. It says "Hold my beer," Dave Crook. Should have put underneath. Bro.
You know what's funny is because unless they know history,
Yeah,
and unless they're
I mean, people still know David Crook.
like a true Texan,
If you're not a Texan.
then they don't really know what anything
Well, in
means.
fairness, David Crockett
Again,
was
going back to education,
David Crockett was a Tennessean. Speaking of education,
right?
he was from Tennessee.
Right. But he was at what is this from? The Alamo.
This is where we bought my shirt. Remember when we went to the Alamo?
Yes, we got that at the Alamo.
You ain't watching on my YouTube page. You can't see it.
No, it's a cool shirt. And you love history. I could care less. I used to like brain dump. I would study for the test.
Of learning.
Exactly. Study for the test.
Yeah.
Then take the test. And then brain dump. Ask me the next day what the capital of what was taken over by who and Napoleon and
I thought you were going to ask the actual question. But right here.
because I don't even know history, so I couldn't even ask you.
I thought you were going to ask that. Gosh.
It was funny because I was going into it too. And I'm like, yeah, capital. I think that's geography. Let's go back over it. Napoleon sounds like he's a historic guy.
Definitely a historic figure.
So
For sure.
brain dump. I immediately gone. Where you retain that information.
Yeah, but it's not like good. The information that I retain is just to have fun facts. Like,
Because you like it.
no, it's great, but it's not helpful in life. Like, I wish I could retain like math formulas and scientific, I don't even know what to call them. I was going to say strategy. I mean, that was wrong. Theories, no, also wrong. I don't know.
There's scientific.
But that's my point.
See, and here's the difference. Is me.
Yeah.
I could probably throw down some math,
Sure.
and you
I'm pretty good at math. I just don't, I don't remember it like I do.
just said he wasn't good at it.
I didn't say I was good. I said I don't retain it like I do history and music or movie. Those, replace them with useful knowledge. Like I said, math or
How's math useful for you?
it's really not. It's really not.
Y equals mx plus b.
Sure. I don't know. Is that a triangle?
How is that useful for you?
No, I'm talking about if I could have retained math and, been like a math genius and gone to like MIT,
To
been
do
working
what?
on rockets. I don't know.
You want to work on a rocket?
No,
Well, then why is that important? Like,
I think you're missing the point. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is I retain information that in no way could be useful even if I were to pursue it. I would be a historian. Freaking nerd. Get out of here. Glasses.
but what would any of the other topics in what you actually are interested in doing? It's not
It has
just,
nothing to do with me being interested. It's if I was good at it.
but you could be good at something and still not enjoy doing it,
That's fair.
right?
Sure.
So being able to retain math information doesn't really matter because you want to build a rocket.
No, but what if I build computers?
Does that interest you?
Nah, also.
Okay, well then I'm saying in the things that actually interest you.
But you could have a much more lucrative career doing it.
Sure, but you'd be miserable and hate your life because you're in a job that you don't like.
Life.
Me. All people don't know about your life.
I think I have
Yeah.
I retain things like I didn't know I was interested in history. I didn't do anything historical when I was a kid. It was interesting. I retained it. I love World War II
You
stuff.
didn't know that you were interested in history, but it was interesting. Interesting. That means you're interested in it. If it's interesting to you, that means you're interested in it.
Like Gordy plays with his little Hot Wheels. He loves his Hot Wheels. Big. When Cristiano was a kid, smaller kid, he loved Lego, and I mean loved Lego. Like he was legit. Like I'm going to be a Lego instructor at Lego.
Yeah, he didn't want to be an engineer,
No,
like building.
just want to teach you
He wants
how
to
to live.
teach everybody else to.
Right.
Which is actually like
Sure.
a
No, it's
develop.
cool. And now he's starting like, which, has definitely transitioned.
Which is the things we told them back then, but they didn't really quite understand it.
I didn't, and like they see that stuff as children. Anytime they see it, they're like, oh, I want that. Little. I don't recall ever seeking any kind of like more historical knowledge. Even whenever we were doing that, I was talking about that accelerated reader program. I didn't go for like history books. I went for things that seemed easy to read. That really helped out.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with influence as well, because with our kids, we see like with Cristiano loves Legos. So everybody bought him Legos. Can you imagine if no one got him Legos? Like everybody just was like, no, here, you actually like to clean. So here's cleaning stuff. Actually, you don't like to do any of that. Right. So if we look at that and say, okay, that could have sent the trajectory. I could go upstairs and I bet Cristiano's closet, half of his big closet that he has is Lego.
Yeah.
Of just all the years of everybody buying him Legos. And so we were able to enhance that dream, enhance that knowledge, enhance the want of him like chasing after that. If someone saw your interest in history, it was like, oh, actually check this book out. Or actually, hey, look, read this. This is cool. Then it could have grown that little seed of interest that you had in history.
Even though that sounds very smart and entirely possible, I'm just going to disagree with you for the sake of it. Anyhow. No, because I mean, no, hardly. If like, my history teacher would be like, great history grades. Like, he's obviously either paying attention or into this and just kind of, what do you call it, groomed it.
Mhm.
Then yeah, maybe. But again, I become the best historian in the world. What does that get?
Oh, there's tons of things out there that we
A
could.
job at the Smithsonian.
Oh, that'd be.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, here's the thing:
Mhm.
is we're talking about now success, what you define as success, and what you define as happiness, and
Awesome.
how you can get the two together to define what your rich life is. With
Just
a
be a man.
bit of a hint of what we do for our careers. But what I'm saying is like my biggest thing is like you should be happy in your life.
Yeah.
Right? We're there's this whole thing about society and how you're supposed to be. And again, the standardization of you go to school, you get your degree, you get rich doing this job that everybody is going to do that. And that is a big lie. Because that is not,
It's a misconception.
yeah, I don't know any big words. See, I'm not good at vocabulary. So misconception, sure.
Yeah.
It's the way that it's put is that if everybody follows this one standardized way of doing things, you're good to go. You're going to be great. And if you can't follow it, then you suck and you should just go on the streets already. Like, society has put those thoughts and those things in our head that if you follow this one track, you're going to be great. Now, the thing about society from when you and I were kids to now is our kids have so much access.
Best run in the world.
No, but they have so much access to other information. Like,
Yeah.
well, this guy's actually didn't go to school, and this guy's a YouTuber, and he's making a ton of money. Like, they are seeing that there is not just one way to do things anymore. So it's really difficult as parents now to like send our kids to school and try and convince them that getting good grades is going to get you successful and to be successful. Like, it's really difficult to like get them motivated when they're seeing that all these other people are making money doing other things. And then when we see it too, I'm like, well, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Like, as long as they just pass and get through and continue on and
Right.
educate themselves and are good people and are enjoying and finding what they like to do and then making money out of what they like to do.
Well, I mean, with that said, Layla having to take the ACT, and she freaked out. Her world has ended because she took the test and was like, "Don't even ask me about it in person because I'll probably cry." And it's like, it, it's just a test. Like it doesn't matter. She's like, no, 'cause she wants to get into the University of Texas. And this is all her. I've never encouraged her, or I guess tried to persuade her one way or the other to do something or something different. She wants to be.
I feel like we do for like help do that, influence them in those ways.
She should be.
Oh, I have.
She wants to be a doctor.
Okay, maybe I've influenced.
Sure.
But
She's like, I want to be a surgeon. But she wants to be a surgeon, and I think she wants to be a surgeon because she wants to put not because of the money. I don't think it has anything to do with money, to be honest.
I don't think you've actually sat down and talked to her about why she wants to do these things, but okay.
I have asked her. And she has said, at least originally, it's because she does like to help people. And the surgeon part of it is because she's into the
Dissecting.
like the gore of not so much the gore, but just the graphicness of opening something and doing it. It's like that cool, as long as you're going the route of the doctor, which that's cool. That'd be great. Have a doctor in the family, get it out of here. She might need her. I'm gonna text her.
Mhm.
It's still the same. It's the same thing. All right. So,
Mhm.
all right. There.
It's funny how I
What did
just
you-
watched you like go on the off-topic trail, watch that trail. I didn't even interrupt it this time. I just watched it.
It's okay. I dropped some bread. I'm back.
Okay, what were you talking about?
We were talking about the learning methods and doing stuff that
No, we
you're
were talking about ACT and Layla taking ACT.
Oh, but I was saying doing stuff that you're interested in, and Layla freaking out about the ACT because of the fact that she's actively pursuing college. When I was a kid, I didn't know college was a true option, which is why I didn't even look into it. Right? It was either the whole field or it was military. So for her to know that she still has even the military as an option to be able to go to the Air Force Academy, that's still the back burner of thinking like maybe she's trying to keep herself eligible to do something like that and become a surgeon in the Air Force, or go become a surgeon and then join the Air Force. But she still has all of these options, and these are things that she has because of the fact that what we have done in our lives, say like these are your options. We're very vocal about saying you're not limited to either this or this or this. You know,
Which is why it's so hard for me, because some of those things require you to get a good score on them. And some of us aren't very good test takers. I am an awful test taker. If you're like, here, this is the question, go find the answer and let's research it and find some answers for it, I could do that. I could find and research and look through and reference and all these things.
Yeah.
But when you put me, like, when I have to remember all the information and research and references and the things that I looked and now take it all away from me and put me in the test, I have awful memory-ish like things going through when I'm going through a test. So it's like, why does that determine if she gets into this college, right?
Right.
Why does that determine? And I was kind of having this conversation with her a little bit about it, because she was like, I did awful and devastated. She doesn't even got the score yet.
Right.
She was already like just
Yeah.
downing herself and things like that. This is before the test. After she took the test, like I feel so bad for her, because I can't take that out of her, because it's really important in her mind right now. And as teenagers, we know once we're set on when something's really important, you're important and no one can change it, not even your parents who have already experienced life. Like, you can't change it.
Because they know better.
Because they know better. And so, sorry. There's another hair on my back. Listening to the podcast, but I just got it.
Sasquatch.
And so for her, I was trying to tell her, like, if you don't do well, number one, let's retake it. If you really want to do well, study, figure it out. We'll work on it.
Which we've been saying.
Right. And she's been studying and she did well, and she took it. So we'll see how it goes with the score. And if she didn't get the score she wants, we'll keep going. Also, there are other colleges out there that will teach you and do the same things to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
I know that she wants to go to this college. and we're going to work hard to try and get her to that college. Now, let's be fair. She isn't, I don't feel like she is doing all that she can sometimes to do it and get there and get the grades she wants and being that. But then there's also a lot of other factors to that as well, because she's like, I have to take AP classes. I have to take the college. I have to take these ones. And what we're finding out is they don't really care about that. They just really care about what your GPA is. So why are you stressing yourself out when you could take the classes, the easier ones that you are smart in and that you can ace out and just do well? So it's trying to find that right path for her, being in the old mindset of you have to do this to get good grades to go and be successful. And if you don't go to these colleges, then you're nothing, right? And then the new mindset of, well, you can still do really well. You don't have to be like perfect in your test scores and still go to a really good college and get a really good degree and still become a doctor and a surgeon. Because what were you saying the other day? You're not asking the doctor.
It's rare that somebody goes to the doctor and before they allow treatment, do they ask, where did you practice? You go to the doctor and you're just like, hey man, what's up? My knee hurt.
I mean, average.
I kept saying knee because my knee actually squatches. I'm working on my glute.
No, but it's true. I
It's true.
don't go in there. Well, I'm sure there are people that do ask. And if that patient is like, I'm not gonna have you work on me because you went to XYZ college, then you don't need that patient. And there's lots of other patients out there that you can see and do. And as long as you care and you're working really hard and you do really well as that career field like that and many others, no one's gonna ask you, oh, where did you go to school? That's not a thing anymore. At least maybe not in our circles, in our areas of what we do, but it I feel like in our circles that we're in, you ask it because it's more of a, oh, you went to the U of A, I'm like an ASU fan, so blah, 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 right? It's more of the rivalries and sports. So, and that might just be the circles we're in. But I think it's really been difficult trying to navigate that with, I mean, with Noah, it was difficult, period, because he did have a different way of learning. And getting him to pay attention and getting him to just do his work was difficult. And I think we talked about it on a previous.
Yeah, when you
episode.
forget all district academics.
Yeah, his senior year. And I mean, I was like one of my most proud moments because we had been so difficult working to get him to that point. And so him winning, I was like, oh my goodness, we got him there. And it was a struggle. And then Layla has always been very studious, always cared about her grades, was always like on top of things. And so it was a little bit easier, but then it was the opposite where if she didn't do well and wasn't perfect in it, she was stressing out and she was having breakdowns. And she would, we didn't do it. We weren't like, oh, you got less than and you're in trouble. But she was putting that own pressure on herself. And I can relate to that one. Like I was putting a lot of pressure. Like I think it's the there's a word for it. Can't do it. No. So like I'll say invisible reality. There's like these proper psychological terms for them, but basically
The
like
upside down.
no.
Oh.
It's like we say you need to get good grades. And so now she works this up in her brain. Like if she doesn't get good grades, she's gonna get in trouble. This is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. But we haven't, all we said was just get good grades. Right. But in her mind, if she doesn't, it's a bigger consequence. Something consequence. That's what I'm going to say. My simple little non-vocab terms of forgetting what things mean. Okay. But basically, she's making up these invisible consequences that aren't actually there. So she's stressing herself out. And that's what anxiety does.
Sure.
Anxiety can probably relate to that.
So I've heard.
And so I think I did that too. Because I don't think my mom actually would have like done anything to me had I brought back bad grades or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's the same concept. You really just want to be, it's a fear of failure, right? What's going to happen if you fail? Oh, the worst. You can't fail. There's no such thing. Failing, can't do it. And when you do fail, you feel like, worthless piece of garbage.
She had to have gotten that from mom's side. Me, it's like, well, if I fail, then well, I'll figure it out. We'll do something.
Yeah.
And if I fail that, I'll figure it out. We'll do something.
And I don't know if it's, again, it's very psychological and understanding of
Sure.
the brain, which is kind of cool to me. And I could probably, if I wanted to go back to school to do like studies of the brain and psychology and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's the understanding of where does that come from? Is it genetic?
Yeah.
Is it just the brain? Is it the things we eat? Is it like, right? It's what is it that's creating those emotions, feelings?
Yeah, because I don't think they're like fake. 'Cause, I mean, if they are fake, she's doing a heck of a job of maintaining them because she's been acting like this for the past, I don't know, 2 years. So it is definitely an anxiety thing. But I've told her multiple times, it's like, when you're 25 years old, 26 years old, and you come across like even Gordy, who's, of course, what is 8, 9, 10 years older, 11,
11.
almost 12 years older
Almost
than
12
Gordy.
years.
Yeah. So in 12 years, whenever Gordy's a junior, and he's also, like, oh man, I gotta take my ACT or maybe he'll be like me and be like, oh, whatever, I'll take it.
Yeah, because I mean,
But she's gonna be the one that's like, don't stress out about it, dude. I freak out so much, and I just wish of course, Dad was saying that I shouldn't freak out, but I did, and now, it's like not a big deal. And it's like, hopefully that's the route she takes. But then again, she might be like, no, it wasn't a big deal. I'm glad that 30 years
We
old, she's
shall
still
see. Well, and it's funny because then we have like Mariano, who is just like nonchalant,
right.
like just going on, just doing whatever. Like he's more of the attitude like you have, where it's like, no, I'm just gonna do my work. Get it
Right.
done. And
But he has more, and well, he's got more aspirations as far as being like a student athlete.
right.
And that does require, depending on what school, like if you were to get a D1 scholarship, which he is, unfortunately, he didn't get 6'2" and 230 pounds. So I mean, that's not very likely, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. There are some schools that are like, well, yeah, you have D1 talent, but you ain't got D1 grades, so
Right.
that's not going to be. And in reality, if he did have D1 talent, he does not have D1 grades, unless he's going to like University of Alabama. They take it. Grades one.
I don't know any of that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it is the grades and it's getting him like to be able to, and he just struggles in attention and he has like we do. Yeah, it's the learning methods. He's not meant, it maybe if they had some of that unconventional learning, he would pay attention and focus and like understand and laugh, see it and learn. But it's that standardized test of learning and testing and all this thing where they give him opportunities to go take a test in a different class, or they give him opportunities to, but it's still the same thing. It's just in a different.
Well, we were
way.
having that discussion as to like what generation is finally going to say this is dumb, guy. Like let's change it up. Let's figure something else out, and make that standardized. Make it standardized that it's not,
Mhm.
and go that route. There's going to be 5 different classrooms, and instead of just going because of your last name and you ended up in Mrs. So-and-so's class, but it's just the number. It could be like, no, Mrs. So-and-so teaches like this.
Mhm.
And you took a pre-test or whatever, and it shows that this is more your learning style. So we're going to go over here. And then, Mr. So-and-so does this, and you're going to go here and fill up the classrooms like that to where.
That is a brilliant idea. I'm very impressed with your idea right now.
I feel like that's not.
I'm
just
like,
seems logical.
wow,
It just,
that is very impressive.
it just seems logical. I don't know.
I don't always think logically, so I know, but that is like an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Like have different.
There's no way I'm the first one to have it. Come on. Like, get out of here.
Well,
I'm not
for
that
me, you
smart.
have.
Okay. I'm 1 for 1 over a household of 2.
But I think that's great. Like you test the kids
Yeah.
and see their learning methods, and then you put them into those classes that focus more on. I mean, you could even do a focus group on this.
Right.
Like, see how it works. These kids learn better. I'm saying this is a great idea. Now hand it off. Hand off the idea to the people listening that run our education.
Well, I try to hand off my ideas to people, and you just throw them.
But this was a great one.
I had a really good one with that pillow. I'm not saying it on here because it's stupid.
No.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Get out of here.
Sometimes.
It'll be like the next Slinky.
Sometimes you have great ideas that could go somewhere. And I think this is great, one of them. So let's not get off topic on it because
Who's
I
that?
feel like
I was-
whoever is listening, education wise, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
You test the
Millions
kids.
and millions that listen to her.
Yes. You test the kids, you see what kind of learning method they have,
Yeah.
and then you start putting them in with teachers who specialize in those learning and those teaching. And then you see how they do, and if it works, it works. If not, then they switch and they don't.
But it wouldn't even have to be a switch to class. Like you could imagine, okay, we're going to put you in Mrs. So-and-so's because she's more of an observational teacher rather than an informational teacher. So we're going to teach you this way. And then you still don't do so great. Okay, well, we have another teacher next grade that also is that, but she kind of combines this over here with, a little bit, and it's not so much of that. It's just, you have to adjust to the child, not the child's system.
Yeah.
And that's the,
Which is crazy. And I'm not in education, and I did early childhood education, so I have a little.
no, but we do got some friends that are in education, so let's hop on this. I know some of y'all listen, so let's.
Well, what I'm saying as far as studying it and understanding it, why they do the things they do,
Yeah.
like I can't speak into detail of those methods. I can question them
Sure.
and I can come up with solutions because I hate to like
I'm a-
question things and then not give solutions,
I
right?
gave some-
Or ideas.
I got a good idea.
I think for me, it's just our kids, and it's the difficulty for us of navigating through what we've been told,
Yeah.
what we see, what we experience, and then now showing that to our kids and then guiding that. Because it's like, this is what I did. So, was I 100% successful from the beginning on? No. Maybe, yes. Depending on who you talk to, depending on who you compare me to. But here I am today doing what I'm doing, being happy and successful in my life. Could I be more successful in the things that I'm doing and the path that I took? Yeah, probably. Maybe. I don't know. But I can just try and guide my kids in a way that hopefully puts them on an easier path than I have.
Yeah, and I'd have to ask my mom because I don't really remember, but was I just always a good student? And because I know there was times that I got in trouble for like not turning in my homework, but it was done. I just didn't turn it in. And, of course, that was a big thing with Noah, obviously, where this came from. But everything else that I did it was easy. So, was that something like for me that it just came so naturally that it just didn't matter? Or did I try? I have no idea. I know in high school I didn't try. It was cool to try.
I know I fought in between it because I was like, I school. And then I was like, wow, I do really good. I'm not cool. But then the cool kids, like, because I went to UHS, the cool kids did do really well at
Yeah.
school. UHS is called University High School. It's a higher, like, you have to test in to get to that high school,
Right.
and it's higher classes and all that stuff. So, like, oh, this is cool. But then,
More like a college prep type of like there.
yeah, and then I got injured, so then I kind of put me behind. I didn't catch up. There's a lot of mental. I think that's another thing. A lot of that mental,
Of course.
psychological things that come into play when you're those ages, and depending on what influences you have at the time, and it's hard as a parent to like pay attention sometimes to what
Especially
your
you.
kids, for what your kids are going through. Because you're trying to do your life and you're trying to make sure you're doing the best for your life and doing the best to support and provide for your kids and your family and be the best. And you're dealing with your own psychological things and making sure your every day is running correctly. And now you throw your kids into the mix and you're trying to pay attention to, well, okay, they're doing the good things and they're okay, but there's sometimes where you don't like really focus on them until something happens where like a grade is bad or something, a teacher called or they throw a fit or things
Well,
like
it's helpful with that Power School app now that they have to where you get basically notifications every week. Like if your kid changes, the grade changes at all, whether it's up or down, you get a notification saying like, hey, so-and-so has an A now when they did have C, or
Right.
vice versa.
vice versa. But what I'm saying is being proactive and watching like their behaviors and seeing what they're doing, especially now as teenagers, because we hardly see them because they're never hanging out with us. They're usually in their rooms. And I love it when they want to be. It's funny because you get annoyed with them because they like want to be there and tell stories and just like be all up in our business. And you're like, oh, go away. And I'm like, I love it because they are usually in the rooms away from us, like
Mhm.
not doing things. Like, do we not? We don't know because we're not up there on the second floor of our house going like, "Oh, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on up here?" We're not being pestering in their lives.
They talk to us whenever they want to come talk. And a lot of the times it is randomly or whatever. And for the record, anytime that I get annoyed that they're trying to sit there and talk to us and tell stories, because I'm trying to touch your butt. So that's literally the only reason. I love talking to kids. They, like all three of them have just different forms of communication. And it's funny to watch. And even with, especially with Gordy, you talk to him and every single time he gets in, he gets home from school, you're like, how was school today? It was good. What did you learn? I forgot.
Well, then you sit there for a little bit and the kids, because I love our dinner time and I loved how we kind of try to all have dinner time together.
Right.
No phones, like paying attention, talking,
Tablet.
and Gordy hates it, but we force him. He'll love it though. But I think it's great because we do talk to them about, hey, how was your day? What's going on? And I love that we've created an environment for our kids that they open up to us about their relationships
Mhm.
and their lives and the drama and the stuff going on around them. Because I never talked to my parents about that stuff, mostly because like I didn't know that they cared or that they wanted to. But I think opening up that door for our kids, especially sitting around our dinner table, we're having these conversations, deep or not, like about what's going on at school, what's in their life, what's going on around us, like overall. It's a really great. I enjoy it.
I worked though. I worked a lot. So like as soon as I hit 16 years old and I was able to get like a full-time job, I was working like every night.
Mhm.
So in order to like sit down and have dinner with my family, that just wasn't. Plus my older brother worked the same spot that I was working at.
Mhm.
So we were both at work and I mean, they had Daniel, but he was little at the time. So what was going on in his life? Well, I mean, it turns out a lot. I know. And but it wasn't really realistic because of the amount that we worked. I worked until the hours. So if you work more than 35 hours in a week, you would be considered a full-time employee, which they couldn't do for me because I was a part-time employee. So I would work 34 and a half hours weekly. And the managers would have to watch to make sure that I didn't cross it. Like, nope, you're clocking out, go home.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm like, okay, now.
Well, and I remember every once in a while having dinner with my parents and my sisters there at but we were busy with sports a lot of the times, and we are too.
Yeah.
And the one good thing like that, Layla makes dinner there at the house. But even if we go and buy dinner, we're going and sitting together at the
Right.
table eating, and we try and make it a thing that everybody eats at the same time. Which I love that our kids do that too.
Right.
Our kids are actually being thoughtful at times. Like they'll go snack. Don't get me wrong. Like the boys, if they're hungry, they'll go snack and eat.
Yeah.
But they'll still come and eat dinner with us. And I really I'm glad that we put that into their lives as being important to come and sit down.
And we don't have a TV in there.
We do, but you keep it on for noise.
Like I do, but it's in the it's not something unless
A game or something.
yeah, it's just.
But even
it's not
so-
a game we're not watching. It's just something like you said
Yeah.
to have on because I don't like dead silent.
And I love too that our kids are comfortable and supportive of each other, talking about their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those moments where they disagree and they're fighting at the table, but
Yeah, 'cause
not
you gotta tell my dad to quit picking on Cruiser.
or anyone.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Let me tell a story.
But it's great because we get to see what they're going through and all the things that are happening in their lives. And we can talk a little bit. I think that's more so sometimes like opening up to them about what's going on in our lives is helpful too. I think we listen a lot, maybe just expressing what we're doing. I do it sometimes because I just want to brag to my kids about what we have going on. But it's fun. And then you have those fun conversations like we had at 40 last night.
Yeah, whenever you cussed,
Oh my gosh, yeah. So then, that's my bad.
she said the hard F word.
The hard F word. Because we were talking about,
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I was like very frustrated. And I said, I ran late for a meeting. I was in cleaning.
Yeah.
Because I've been
You were telling us.
I've been redoing Gordy's room. And so all the toys I was organized in. I was in the zone. I set an alarm on my phone so that way if it would go off, I could come down and get prepared for a client meeting. Well, I didn't realize on the alarm that it just said Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday alarm. I know. Why do I even have that on there? Why did I even do that? And it didn't go off. And she's texting me and she goes, "Oh, I think I'm in the wrong meeting, blah, blah." I was like, I said the F word.
And that's when she said, fudge.
Fudge.
She didn't say.
Right. And I said that at the table, and Gordy was like, "What?" He said, "Don't say that, Mom."
Well, I said, Mom, don't say that.
And I was like, "I didn't. I said duck."
Oh, duck. Yeah, ducks are funny. Whacking around.
So ducks are funny. They're just quacking around.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, ducks. And then we started. Then they would. I just just quacking, quacking, quacking around, just quacking. Gordy's so funny. He's like, quacking, silly ducks.
But going with him, because we always try to throw in an anecdote of Gordy. We were at Cousin Bettel's the other day, and he was with us. We were doing some business, but then we always, especially with friends, we turn business into play. We were just hanging out, having a few drinks, and we ordered food. Is that what it was? We ordered food?
Mariano showed up. He got dropped off. He was at a tournament.
Okay.
So he got dropped off. And
Yeah.
so I'm telling him, like, okay, we're over here, like, just walking over to where we're at.
And mind you, Beto lives in the apartment complex, but the apartment complex is like kind of a thing. It's a higher class apartment complex.
Yeah, it's a nice complex.
Yes.
And so Mariano is walking around to where we're at, and the baby Gordy had followed me out. I was like, he's sitting there, he's like, I have to go pee. I was like, okay, go back, go pee. So in my mind, I'm turned around. So I was watching Mariano. Thought Gordy went back because the apartment was like right behind us. No, I turn around and Gordy's peeing in the bush right in front of the apartment complex.
And the bush is not even knee high. It's not covering anything. Gordy's there with a little wee wee out and just going to town on this bush and just nonchalant, doesn't care. He's like, yeah.
Gordy, we need to go inside.
Well, you can't stop him at that point. He's already going.
Oh, yeah, no.
He'll stop after he starts stinging.
Well, yeah, because you've taught him that you can go pee in the bush,
Yeah.
basically anywhere.
Well, not basically anywhere.
But
'cause
basically anywhere.
so many times, like we were at the baseball park, a few weeks ago, and he did something very similar. He had to go to the bathroom, and there is a part at the baseball park where there's a large bush area, and anybody can go in there, you just go to the bathroom and you're good to go. Well, he picked a weed that was like 6 feet in front of that bushed area, and that one wasn't even ankle high, and he just stood there and watered the weed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and there's a bunch at this point. So the bathrooms are far from that practice. And by far, I mean, like on the opposite end of the park, legitimately more than I would say more than a quarter mile away. It's far. So the only other option was, he's just man. Like, yeah, absolutely not. Go use the bush. And this time I told him, because we had to pee again, he said, okay, go into the bush. Hide your wee wee. And he was like, okay. I don't see what the big deal is, but your thing if you want. But speaking of baseball, I was the most absolute proudest dad this past Saturday and yesterday, because Gordy, for the longest time, did not get a hit in baseball, period. And this time,
He plays coach's pitch.
he plays coach's pitch because he was playing t-ball. Of course, he didn't get hit. He finally, it's been, I think, 10 games in. He's not gotten a hit, not once. And Saturday, he got 2. Awesome defensive play. And then we were in the batting cages yesterday, and I actually recorded it. And I'm going to post it, but he got 2 hits off the coach, and I'm just freaking out.
I know it's one of the things, again, having different kids at different, levels of abilities, where we were just like, we wanted him. And if he wasn't hitting, then maybe this isn't made out for him. But what we're seeing is having patience, seeing him learn and get growing and doing good in it. Just a little bit slower, but he's doing good.
I feel a little bit slow. He's still fine.
He's still fine. But what we're saying is because we're used to like Mariano, who was like
Started
home
batting
runs
like
at
ancient.
5 years. So I think it's just understanding that our kids all.
Are you going to say it's a different learning method? It's a different growing method? We just make sister.
It's being good podcasters over here, connecting the dots.
Sure.
We're growing too, as you can see.
Yeah.
We're learning how to podcast.
Trying. Yeah, it is. It's hugely different method for him, but he's getting it. And I was just was all giddy yesterday when he got him. And the best part about it is the other coaches were equally as giddy. It was just fun.
Well, we have a meeting to get to.
Ah, bless America. We still work.
Yeah, me
All
too.
right. I guess we'll let them go.
Yeah, we can. Unless they want to sit in on the meeting.
You guys can sit down and meeting. They're not bad. They're fine.
But...
They're cool. But no, it was a great podcast. Thanks for listening. You guys don't have to go home, but you got to get the heck out of here because we got stuff. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.